Hey there guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video in the Ark Small Tribe series. In this one, we've got one of, if not the biggest potentially raid on Ark for small tribes. This is our team, which is a 6-man, versus obviously the other tribe, which again was a 6-man. Although neither of us had all 6 on at the same time by the looks of it. Definitely all 6 of our members were involved at some point, although the numbers online at once fluctuated. This is also probably one of the bigger and more advanced raids you're going to see because it's an on-server raid. This means we have access to all of the tech stuff that we had and all the element that we'd been saving up, as well as they do, although they didn't seem to have too much tech stuff outside the transmitter and whatever. So these guys were building up on our server and they got pretty big. For the most part, the bigger tribes don't raid each other on server. You just kind of don't deal with them unless they become a threat, because raiding can be quite risky. You can lose a lot obviously, and it just means constant grief if it goes wrong. So for the most part, the bigger tribes are leaving each other alone on our server, but these guys were not only building up super quick, they were raiding a lot of people and a lot of decent sized tribes. So we were worried they might become a threat to us soon. Obviously they weren't quite at the tech level that we were, but they are online a lot of the time, and we were aware that we were probably getting a lot of gear from all of these raids they were doing. So we decided to go and try and take care of them. Now this was kind of weird because we'd actually set up to do a raid off server before this, but we kind of made a last minute change of plans and decided to have a go at this. And as you're going to see, it was very tricky to do. So online raids of this scale can be very hard, and obviously with the tribe number limitations, it's even trickier. There's a couple of real epic moments in this that you should stick around for. Even during the slower parts of the video, you have to see these epic parts. Probably the most epic thing I've experienced in a raid happens in this video, so make sure that you're watching this and you know when it happens. It's so obvious. So anyway, how did this thing go? We decided to set up over there with a tech teleporter. This is pretty alpha stuff. I've never done this in a raid before, but I haven't been in too many big alpha tribe raids. But a tech teleporter powered by a tech Jenny, allowing us to basically have infinite access to gear and dinos. We could teleport from our base direct to the outpost anytime we wanted at any time. All it needed was to be generated by a tech generator. Didn't take that much element to do so, and it was also protected by a tech force field, and we were quite confident this time they didn't have that much stuff to take down the tech force field. Obviously the best thing to take down tech force fields is tech. We were hoping they didn't have too much element at this point to do so. We also had a good amount of batteries. That's one of the things that I'd been doing while not recording and not uploading that much this week, spending a lot of time on Aberration, getting Reaper Kings, getting batteries charged for raids, because they were super important, almost essential to this raid. So how did it go? Well, we strolled up, and I have to say we were probably a little bit underprepared for the amount of spam that there was in terms of foundations and spikes around that were stopping us from pushing forward. Obviously we got our outpost down just fine, but then we wanted to soak one of the first buildings. We decided to start to soak this dino pen. Obviously had a lot of their wyverns in and good dinos, so we tried to give that a go. It was up on a cliffside, which is kind of difficult. Started off with the technique of using the Quetzal with the rock golem. The problem with that is these guys were obviously online, so they were just picking us every single time we went up there. And by the way, my role in this raid and my role in most raids is like a sniper PvP. I tend not to do the soaking too much unless it's necessary, because I am quite decent with the sniper. I do hit a lot of the shots, and I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but you'll see in this video that I'm obviously probably most useful being in that kind of role. So I'm kind of watching this stuff. It's my job to try and kill the tames when they come out, to try and just shoot at people when they appear, so on and so forth. So the whole Quetzal and rock golem thing wasn't working too well. They were managing to pick us off of our rock golem without much trouble. We did put some heavy turrets down and so on to try and put them off picking us with pteranodons and wyverns, but they managed to do it quite a few times in a row, and it made the progress kind of tricky. So then we had to blow up a lot more of the foundations that were around the area and decide to build a ramp so we could obviously walk the rock golem up there without risking the Quetzal, and maybe the Parasaur if we had that available as well. But I think we just ended up using the rock elemental at this point. So as you can see in the footage here, we're up around their base, trying to just stop them from picking us as we soak, but it's just inevitable. You just have to deal with it. Like, you're gonna get picked, you're gonna get picked, you're gonna get picked. Like, it's worth doing, because every time you sit on that rock elemental, you might even only drain 50 bullets, but if you do it enough times, it will eventually wear it down. So one of the issues we had here is that they were trying to bear run our turrets that were on the ground. They were heavy turrets, but they weren't in huge numbers. Obviously, with good flak bear, you can just run up to them and C4 them. They managed to get a couple of C4s off on some of the turrets, although with some repositioning, we managed to stop them doing that. And did manage to get a few kills on them while they were doing that. They did mess up a little bit, but there was a little bit of back and forth. So let me show some of that footage now. So looking back at the raid, that whole beginning section probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, although it seemed like an okay idea. I just don't think we were prepared to how often we'd get picked off of our stuff and how difficult it would be to stop them from doing that, even when you put heavy turrets down in the area. So one of our tribe members, Dante, decided to go up to the top, start blowing all of the spikes and the stuff that was on the top edge of the cliff where there wasn't actually much turret coverage. Once we managed to get up there and start placing a few turrets down up there, then the whole dynamic of the raid changed a little bit, especially for me personally. It allowed me to get to a position where I could snipe at people and just annoy them whenever they were coming out. Snipe at dinos a lot easier. Before this point, I was using the Griffin and hovering and then just shooting at people as I saw them. Once we managed to get up to this point, I could kind of sit up there and it was a lot easier to do. Now, we were kind of vulnerable here. We had heavy turrets down, but we started with only a couple. Then we managed to get a few more. And the whole time we're doing this, they're trying to blow up these turrets that we are putting up there as well. Now, thankfully, we did get to the point here where we managed to put up a few turrets, and this is where the real sniping started. We were trying to soak with the rock golems. Obviously, there was still the issue of the picking, but there was a lot of back and forth sniping here, which was quite fun to do. So I'll just do a little edit now of some of that footage. There you go.
Oh, sick, dude. Yeah.
Easy. Killed him off the griff, killed him off the golem.
The guy's bringing his big gun.
This is big gun. Oh, is it?
And he's dead now, man.
Are they using a poison?
I shot him off.
Kill it, kid.
Air racer?
Yeah,
killed him.
One that's
I
over
got
there on the right.
Look around.
Killed him, killed the guy off the rock golem.
It's almost dead. Look at it, it's all bloody.
Oh, they're getting it
They
away.
called it? What the?
I got it.
Damn.
Nobody on it. There's
The
that
hell?
tap, he's got nobody on it. It came right into the turret.
Why aren't the turrets shooting? Oh,
Because it's got nobody on
Yeah, it's gonna. Hold on, I'm gonna switch this turret
Yeah,
then.
it's with the turret.
Oh, I got shot. Ow. It's shooting it though. Well, we want to get it dead though. They're gonna try to run with it. Sweet.
Foundation of ceiling.
Oh, damn, that shoot him off the wyvern.
Yep. Did it?
One of
Yeah.
them just died to it.
Yeah, he did. I'm splooging it.
Yep, just spooked it.
This turret will get it as well, it's on Thames.
Are you alive?
It's done, so mate.
Oh my god, it's Brian.
I got it.
How's it not dead? There we go.
So there was a solid battle there. Things weren't progressing quite as fast as we would like. We still had the problem of being picked off of our rock golems. And it came to the point where we actually got 2 of our members caged because obviously they didn't have the right gear on them to stop them getting picked. Really, and I did say this to the guys at the time, they should have had the grapples on them at all time or be overweight or carry some organic poly. Because when you get picked, a lot of the time they could just grab you and take you prisoner. Now, some people get around this by when they get picked, they log off, but you know, people either choose not to do that because it is a bit of a cheap tactic, or they just forget to. So that is obviously something that could be done, but was something that wasn't always done. It ended up in 2 of our members being held captive. Now, this became a real problem for us because there was only me who was really playing like a sniper role and one other guy. Now, that one other guy, bless him, he was trying his best to like soak solo. I was trying to give him cover with the Reaper King. We were trying to do a bit more soaking, but it was super difficult because at this point they had 3 or 4, we had 2, and we obviously had quite a weak area. Like, we couldn't push too hard because, as you can imagine, if we push them too hard at this point, say they either capture me or they kill us both at once, that's going to make it pretty easy for them to push our turrets there. Like, we've got an okay amount of turrets, but it's very pushable. The guys had rock golems and whatever. Now, at this point, I think I'd been up from about 5 in the morning to about 5 or 6 in the afternoon. I think it had been about 12 hours, which, to be honest, for the amount of progress we made, wasn't, you know, it doesn't look like anything at all. But you've got to remember, these guys are online and fighting with stuff at their base, able to pick us off soakers and whatever. It was very hard to make progress here, especially with the amount of C4 we had to use to blow things down to actually put our turrets down in decent places. So yeah, I'd been up a long time and I was honestly ready to pack up at this point. I was saying to the guys, we had 2 people captured, 1 other person who didn't want to stay on for much longer either, and me, who ideally didn't want to stay on for too long. So I decided to try and bear run to the place they were being held captive. Now, they were being held captive in a building that was just beyond where we were. There was one building near us with turrets on that still had ammo in. Then there was another building that was a bit further on, which is where they were being held captive. Now, they gave me a description of the building, but in all honesty, it was complete guesswork of going up there. I could see that the right hand side of it was quite weak for turret coverage, so I decided to do a beer run, and To be honest with you, if I'd failed at this or this couldn't have worked, I think this would have been it all over. So you have to realize the amount of pressure that's on here, because if I fail this beer run and I can't save these guys, we're going to have to take all of our gear, take it all back, go back. We're going to end up logging off, and we're probably going to get mega griefed when we log off, and we might even get wiped because obviously 2 of our people are captured. Didn't look like anyone else was going to be coming online anytime soon. So the pressure was on, and this is what happened. What?
I got got.
What does that mean?
He got me. He picked me. I'm logging off.
Yeah, log off now.
How did he pick you? Aren't you on the racer?
I hear the turrets. Please die, please die. DJ taking that many bullets?
No, that's
Oh,
Jay.
oh, Jay got in. Jay, kill me, Jay, kill me.
Kill us, Jay.
Kill us, Jay, yes.
I can't.
Oh,
I can't. I have to wait for it to disappear.
oh. Put one on Johnny too then real quick and hide behind the ACs or something.
I can put one on him.
Put one on Dante if you can.
Yeah,
Dante.
yeah. Oh my God.
Dante's over there too. Yes!
Oh, yes.
Yeah!
I fit Dante Polymer, get wrecked.
Oh,
And I ate some Polymer, get wrecked. I'm out of here. We're out.
beer run, God!
So the beer run worked, and I have to say, the morale went through the roof. We were at such a low point in this raid, like I said, almost ready to give up, almost ready to admit the fact that we were going to get super griefed and maybe even offline raided, possibly even wiped. And it worked, and it was just such a relief. We got 2 of our main members back who were full of energy and prepared to go on for longer, and it meant that we could start fighting again. So the next morning I wake up. I don't know if I'm going to wake up to a failed raid, our base wiped, their base wiped, who knows. But luckily one of the other guys came on as well and helped the others push through the end, and they did manage to eventually wipe the tribe off of the server. Now it was a very slow process, as you could tell, which meant that they got to upload pretty much whatever they wanted. We didn't get any gear from this, I believe, apart from some turrets or bullets that were left in some of the turrets, but not a huge amount. So it was a shame, but this is just what happens when you online raid, especially big bases that take a long time. They can just upload everything. I mean, they could have buried everything in basilisks and reaper kings and we'd have never known. So there was no gear to be had, but at least it worked. At least we didn't get wiped ourselves. I mean, although there was no gear to be had, it did mean that we weren't going to get counter raided at least that night. So that was a big relief. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took a long time to edit this together. The actual raid took us like, well, I was on for about 14 hours. The guys didn't finish, I think, for another 8 hours. So it was a big effort, and the guys did an absolutely awesome job. But that's it for now, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.